Good evening. I'm Kylan Watson. Welcome to the 76ers Post-Game Show. This is where we're going to talk about what just happened between the Celtics and the 76ers. The Sixers battered the Celtics 106 to 103. And while it was looking a little hairy later in the game, especially those last 2 minutes where it felt like Boston went on that explosive scoring run, once again proving that they're one of the best and most dynamic offenses in the league. But thanks to Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey and their growing dynamic, the Sixers were able to stay just ahead. Now, Joel Embiid scored 27 points and had 10 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 blocks. Tyrese Maxey had 25 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists. Almost had that triple double. Was 1 rebound and 5 assists short. Again, that dynamic has continued to be clutch for the 76ers. Tonight, especially Tyrese Maxey was carving Boston's defense up like it was turkey on Thanksgiving Day. That's in a few weeks, folks. But you have to understand, Maxey has just been unleashed since the James Harden trade, and the Sixers have given him the keys, and he is acting like he's DJ Khaled because he's got the keys and he ain't giving them back. He's hitting floaters. He hit like 5 floaters tonight to keep the Sixers ahead when Boston was threatening to come back. He hit a late game buzzer beater floater to lessen the lead of the Celtics. And him and Joel Embiid ultimately led the comeback. I mean, what else can we say about Joel Embiid? He is completely brought in to what Nick Nurse has sold him on. He's playing defense. He's balling out, scoring 30 plus points a game. He's gotten the rebounds, gotten those assist totals up. One of the big things that me particularly I wanted him to do was get those assist totals up because he was averaging 3 to 4 assists. He can get those up to 6 or 7 assists, especially with the attention he draws. And now it just seems like both of these players are unlocked, and that dynamic is what has added an extra dimension to the Sixers' offense and defense. I mean, Maxey anchored some big defensive possessions by the Sixers. So if the Sixers can continue to get this type of defensive performance out of both Embiid and Maxey, they can go far and lay claim to being the best team. I mean, they currently are. They're 6-1, the best team in the Eastern Conference. They just need to keep that up. Now, on the Celtics side, the Sixers' length clearly bothered them. They only shot 31.6% from the field. Now, this is a team with a bunch of shooters. Like the Celtics come off the bus ready to shoot from City Hall in Philadelphia. Like they are a shooters team, and the Sixers held them to 31.6% field goal percentage. That's big time, folks. Big time. This is one of the deepest and lengthiest Sixers team in recent memory that I can remember, not just as a reporter, but as a fan as well. Like you got Nicholas Batum, you got Tobias Harris. I mean, Joel Embiid doesn't defend wing defenders, but if you need it, he can, right? You got Rocco, Robert Covington. You got Marcus Morris if you need that. And I mean, Batum is just doing the job. He did the job on both Tatum and Brown, and he kept them silent. The only player that really did anything for the Celtics tonight was Kristaps Porzingis. I know you Knicks fans who are listening to me. I know the pain, right? That's Kristaps, your boy, the boy y'all drafted, right? Now he scored 29 points. He missed the game-tying three-pointer, which was big. Joel Embiid clearly affected that one. He had to shoot it and get it up there, and he missed. B got the pivotal rebound. Oh my goodness, folks! Like I know that there's not much that Sixers fans can take after what the Eagles almost pulled against the Cowboys. all with the Cowboys falling short thanks to their doctorate in clock mismanagement. But man, the Sixers almost lost that one. But Nick Nurse made the clear adjustments to keep his team ahead. And obviously, let's talk about it. Joel Embiid hitting that turnaround fadeaway shot that ultimately was the pivotal difference in this game. He didn't score much in the second half, but when they needed it most, he put it on and he was the closer in that game. Now there are some things that the Sixers can clean up on the defensive side. Nick Nurse was talking about in his post-game press conference some of the misses, some of the key pick and pop 3-pointers that most people thought were on Joel Embiid, but he said it was more on communication with the other players around, not just Joel. So that's a big one. So they have some things that they're still working out, and we have to remember that this is a new system that the Sixers are running, and as they get better, like I believe Nick Nurse said that they've only got about 38% of his defensive scheme in right now. So, I mean, guys, as this gets better, as we get deeper into the season, this is just going to pick up. If this Sixers team has the same defensive aggression throughout the season and in the postseason, they might be able to make a finals. I'm not there yet, but they might just be able to. They might just be able to have the next parade down Broad Street if they bring this type of defensive aggression and this type of ball movement out that can beat the Celtics. Now, they do play the Celtics again next week, so we'll see if they can repeat this. But I mean, this was big time for the Sixers. This was big time. And now they kept the killer Jays in check. Now, it's not often that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum can score 11 points, and Brown scored 11 points. Jason Tatum scored 16 points, and it's on 6 out of 14 shooting for Tatum, 42.8 field goal percentage, and out of 13 shots, 30.6% field goal percentage for Brown. How often can you say that? And this game was still close, and that's because of the Sixers' length. Again, like I talked about, the Sixers have a bunch of wing depth now. And it's not just one guy. It's not just primarily on Tobias Harris anymore. Now you've got, like I said, Nicholas Batum, one of the best defensive wingmen in the league on this team now. And he knows how to play it. He knows how to guard, just aggressive enough without fouling. PJ Tucker was another good defender, but they would call him for fouls a lot. Whereas Nick Batum can get up in the Tatum and Brown without fouling, and that is big because both of these players, much like Joel Embiid, rely on the free throw shooting to get them going at times where the offense might not be there, right? And so the Sixers were able to keep Brown and Tatum in check, and ultimately that's what helped them win this game, right? They did just enough to keep the Celtics at bay. And if they can continue to do that, then like I said, they can be the best team in the NBA, man. Now, are the Sixers now the best team in the Eastern Conference? I mean, record-wise, it says, yeah, they're the best team, man. They've got the best player, the reigning defending MVP. They've got one of the best young stars in the league in Tyrese Maxey. And again, Tobias Harris, didn't even talk about him yet. Playing like a man possessed, averaging about 19 points per game, hitting those 3-point shots, and has just been playing way more aggressive and way downhill. Funny what happens when he's not stuck in the corner, waiting on somebody to pass him the ball so he can shoot. And these adjustments are just really helping. Like, it's a miracle, a coach that actually adjusts. Now, I'm not sending too many shots to Doc Rivers because obviously I have never coached a professional basketball team. But at times, it just seemed like stuff just wasn't working with that team. I don't know if they tuned them out or not. But, I mean, with Nick Nurse, there is a clear degree of separation. And if the Sixers can get it like they got it tonight, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And had it not been for a Damian Lillard explosion, they might be 7-0 right now, And that is big time for the 76ers. They need more of that. more of this dynamic, more of this depth. Like they have a bunch of dogs on this roster right now, like Pat Beverly, Nick Batum, Robert Covington. We haven't even seen Marcus Morris yet, right? And so once it really gets going for the Sixers, when it gets going, it'll get going, man. And the Sixers just need to keep this together, keep this fire going. And obviously, there's gonna be some low periods. Like right now, it's at its highest. They just beat the Celtics, right? The Celtics hadn't lost until they lost to the Timberwolves, and now to the Sixers over these past few days. I mean, it's really, really coming on for the Sixers. So they just need to put this lightning in the bottle, continue to play aggressive, even when it's not working, man. Because the Sixers, they tend to get down when their shots aren't falling. But right now, that seems like a thing of the past. So I think if Nick Nurse can continue drawing it up like he needs to, keep making those adjustments, the Sixers can really, really go far. Now, are they the best team in the NBA? Now you do have the Denver Nuggets. You got the Nikola Jokic of it all. They're 8-1. They won as well tonight. And I can't wait to see that matchup between the Nuggets and the Sixers now with Nick Nurse on the team, and on his coaching staff and his adjustments. The Sixers may be able to go a lot farther than most people think. I think a lot of people owe Joel Embiid an apology. They were laughing at him a few weeks ago when he said, despite the fact that the Celtics and the Bucks had added two dynamic players in Kristaps Porzingis and Damian Lillard, that they hadn't surpassed the Sixers. And right now, if you look at the standings, the Sixers are 6-1. Both the Bucks and the Celtics are 5-2. So he's looking pretty good, man. A lot of people owe him an apology. Um, if you would have asked me where the Sixers were at the end of this stretch, I probably would have said ballpark 6-1. Maybe that would be the highest, but maybe like 4-2. 5-2, because this would have probably been like last year's probably would have been a close loss. This year, this is a win because of the adjustments of Nick Nurse, because of the development of Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey is legitimately an all-star, man. Just going right back to it. Tyrese Maxey might just be an all-star this year, y'all. That's not far-fetched. Tyrese, I'll say it again, real slow for those of you to catch up. Tyrese Maxey will be an all-star this year. Like, I mean, look at him. He's scoring 20 plus points a game, hitting about 5 to 6 threes. Now, the threes weren't working this time, because obviously he had Drew Holiday on him, and Joel Embiid had Drew Holiday on him. And Drew Holiday is just the best defender on the Celtics team. So it didn't really work today. But if Tyrese Maxey can continue to be consistent from the three-point line, continue to get at least 9 to 10 assists per game, then he could definitely be a point guard. I know when he came in, that was the knock on him, right? A lot of experts were saying, oh, he's more of a shooting guard than a point guard, but he's definitely showing that he is a point guard in Nick Nurse's offense, right? And if he can continue to develop, the sky is the limit. Bro, this man has gotten the keys and he is not giving them back. Like, the Sixers really do have the dynamic where I don't even think, even if they wanted to, I know rumors from Chris Mannix at Sports Illustrated and others are saying that the Sixers are targeting Zach LaVine or OG Anunoby. I don't think at this point they need either one of those players, right? They can ride it out with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey and just wait it out to maybe the February deadline or even to the postseason, depending on how it looks. Like right now, it's at its highest, right? You got the Pacers and the Pistons coming up. Reverse that order, Pistons and Pacers coming up. Another matchup with the Celtics next week as well. So if the Sixers are still at about maybe after that game, maybe 10-1, maybe 8-2, like whatever it is at the end of that stretch, man, like this was the test and they passed it. Next week they'll play the Celtics again, and I may be saying something different, but right now they passed the test. Sixers Celtics is a big game, whether that happens in the regular season or the postseason. Like I really do believe that if Nick Nurse was the coach last year, the Sixers would have won. Who knows if they would have gotten past Miami, because again, that was a slugfest last year. That was a 7-game slobber knocking slugfest last year. Everybody, the Sixers took everything out of the Celtics took everything out of the Sixers, and so whoever won that game was ripe for the picking for a refreshed Miami team once the Sixers and Celtics had just gone at each other, right? And so, like, I believe this year with the addition of Nick Nurse, that the Sixers can get to an ECF. That if they make some more move, if they make another move, if they get a Zach LaVine, or maybe they get an OG Anunoby, maybe they get a Pascal Siakam, that if that comes in, then yeah, that's the three-headed monster. Now, I'm not, especially after what happened with the Nets, and obviously the Nets and Sixers, two different teams. There's not necessarily. I mean, there is a three-headed monster currently on the Sixers with Tobias Harris, Tyrese Maxey, and Joel Embiid. But right now, I mean, even Joel Embiid says there's no ego on this team right now. Now, you can read into that what you want. Is that a veiled shot at James Harden, or is that a shot at somebody else? Really don't know. Read into that what you want to, but it is just looking great for the Sixers. And again, if that stays the way it is now, do you really even need to make a trade? I mean, let me know what you think at Kylan W. Watson at Twitter. Just let me know your opinions on this. I don't think they need to make a move. Let me be clear. At this point, right now, 6-1, won 6 straight games. I don't think at this point, at 7:55 Eastern time, I don't think at this point they need to make a move. I think that they can keep it going where it is. And if something happens, maybe a losing streak happens, which are inevitable. I mean, it's an 82-game season, right? If a losing streak happens, then maybe you think about a move. But Daryl Morey was saying before this game that this was the litmus test, right, for the Sixers for right now where they're at. And it looks like right now they're a dang good team that is top in the Eastern Conference right now, the best team in the Eastern Conference right now, and they may just be the best team in the Eastern Conference. Boston's got some growing pains with Kristaps Porzingis. They don't have Marcus Smart, so they don't really have the defensive junkyard dog pit bull that they had last year to really get in people's face, make them play defense. So I just think that the Celtics, right, they are a really good team. Don't get me wrong, Boston fans. You have a really, really good team. But can y'all gel? Can y'all stay healthy? Can Jason Tatum take another leap? Can Jaylen Brown take another leap now that he's making all that money, right? $250 million a year. Can he take that leap, right? And I think that's the ultimate question, right? For the Sixers, it's about Tyrese Maxey. Can he take that leap, right? For the Celtics, it's about, can Jason Tatum take that leap? Can Jaylen Brown take that leap? Now that they done paid Jaylen Brown, are they gonna have to pay Jason Tatum? They're paying Kristaps Porzingis. They're gonna have to pay Drew Holiday. Like it's a lot of money to go around and not enough balls there. And I mean, I haven't even talked about the Bucks of it all, right? The Bucks, they're looking good too, but they're coming down a little bit too now that still the dynamic still needs to be worked out between Giannis and Dame. And had Dame not exploded, I mean, Joel Embiid and them were set to win that game. Had Damian Lillard not taken over and Dame time not happened, the Sixers might be 7-0 right now. Who really knows? I mean, think about that. Think about that, right? If Dame Lillard does not go off, the Sixers may be 7-0 right now. 7-0. Can you think about a world in Philadelphia sports where the Sixers are 7-0, the Eagles are 8-1, and the Sixers beat the Celtics in a regular season game? Not only happened twice last year, they split that series, right? But I mean, can you imagine, right? Now the Sixers are looking good right now. And they'll have more of a test, right? They'll start the in-season tournament, in a couple of days. They'll start the in-season tournament where they face the Pistons, the Pacers, the Hawks. I believe they'll get the Celtics again, but I don't think that counts for the in-season tournament. So it's just crazy for the Sixers right now, right? It's looking great. Nick Nurse still, and the funny thing is, like, I don't even think the Sixers have played their best ball yet, y'all. Like, Nick Nurse said they're only operating at 38% of his defensive scheme. It's probably just about the same for his offensive scheme. So if the Sixers can continue to rise and do well and win 6 straight games, not even implementing half their system, what does that look like when the system's actually fully implemented? What does it look like when they're running an actual system? Like so many questions, man. So many questions. So many questions for Sixers fans. So much drooling that's going to be happening because of like the good basketball we're seeing, right? The good basketball I'm seeing as a sports journalist, and even when I take the sports journalist hat off, like even as a fan, I don't think many Negadelphians can talk about it. I mean, this is making my friends group who are not in sports media so excited. My one friend, Kenan, his name's Kenan Wilson, he just put on Facebook that they got him believing again, right? And my man takes his vitamin pessimism. He would say he's a realistic Philadelphia sports fan. I would say he's a great guy, great sports fan, but he's a Negadelphian when it comes to the Sixers, right? Like he like anything you think he'll come up with it, right? Like but the Sixers even got him believing. And they're converting all the Negadelphians, all the people that were out of it. That's just one story that I know, right? Some of y'all probably got family members now and talking about they back in, man. They was out, but they pulled them back. But Nick Nurse and Joel Embiid pulled them back in, right? The Sixers are looking so good right now, right? And again, this is early in the season. Who knows what it's going to look like come March, come April, come February. It's looking great right now, and it can only get better. It can only get better, man. They don't even have, like I said, they don't even have like the full slate right now, right? So like what's next for the Celtics in particular? Let's go with what's next, right? What's next for the Celtics is they're gonna have to go back to the drawing board. They're gonna have to figure out their defensive scheme, man. Drew Holiday is your best defender. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, they are good to okay defenders, but that's not their strong suit. They're scorers. This Boston team really isn't built to come back. They're more built as front runners, right? They're front runners. It's a front running team. Some teams are front runners, some teams are underdogs. The Celtics are front runners. That's what they do. They front run. They score a lot. That's what they do. They're a scoring team that plays defense that can get gritty, but especially without the junkyard dog, Marcus Smart, they don't really have a lot of dogs on the team. Drew Holiday, they have him, but it's not Al Horford, if you consider him a dog. But they don't really have like that defensive person who can bring you together, who can get you scheming right now. That's Drew Holiday, but Drew Holiday is more of a quiet leader, right? Excuse me. And if the Sixers can continue, now again, they have another game against Boston next week. Let's say they beat them. If they beat Boston twice in 2 weeks, Philadelphia will be unbearable if this happens, man. Like they'll probably end up splitting it because they never get too many straight victories over Boston. But if they can do it, like this Boston team can be had. Again, they have a bunch of shooters, but not really. They're still working things out on the defensive end. So now is a good time to try and take advantage of that if you're an opposing team of the Celtics. For the Sixers, again, they had some defensive lapses, especially towards the end of that game that they need to clean up. Nick Nurse, Nick Batum have both said they'll be better in those late game situations. A lot of communications issues. So what the Celtics were doing, and the Celtics were just hitting shots. They do that to a lot of teams. It doesn't matter if a hand is in their face or if it isn't. They're just gonna hit shots, and sometimes that's what they do. They'll hit shots, right? So the Sixers will be fine. Right now, they're the best team in the Eastern Conference. I'm not sure if I'm ready to say that they're the best team in the NBA. No, matter of fact, I'm there. They're the best team in the NBA right now, right? They're 6-1. Obviously, the Nuggets are 8-1. Can't wait for that. But right now, the Sixers look like the best team in the NBA. They've got the defenders. They've got the shooting. They've got the wing depth now. They've got a bunch of guys with like a 7-1, 7-2 wingspan who can really affect shooters, just as the Celtics. They only had a team field goal percentage of 31.6%. And let me know what you think, man. Hit me up at Colin W. Watson on X/Twitter. This is great. We only got about 5 minutes left in this post game show, but I just love talking sports with y'all, right? Love talking about the Sixers, man, the Eagles, man. We like it's looking real good, at least for the Eagles and the Sixers. The Union are playing in the playoffs as well. Like it's looking good. The Flyers are somewhat on the upswing, but the Sixers, man, this is a Sixers post game show. The Sixers are looking great. And again, and one person who I didn't mention, Kelly Oubre, man, the man who refound himself in the Sixers as a Sixer, didn't even have a real good game tonight. He only had like 5 points. So, he wasn't even really needed in this game, man. But when he is, now he's more of a six man. Nick Nurse has said that. Like once Nick Batum gets more integrated into the system, he will probably take over that role as the power forward or the small forward. Tobias Harris might go back to small forward. And obviously Nick Batum will go to PF, I believe. I believe that's how it will work. But I mean, once the Sixers get everybody fully integrated and you have Robert Covington coming in, you as an opposing team, you think you're safe. All right, whoo, we made it through the Nick Batum, Tobias Harris starting lineup. Then comes Robert Covington. Then comes Patrick Beverly being annoying. Like the Sixers have them dogs, man. This might be the biggest team of dogs I have ever seen on a Philly team, right? Daryl Morey deserves a lot of credit, man. While a lot of people were saying, "Oh, this team looked like crap," they still got James Harden on the team. James Harden's not here anymore. And he got a lot more than I think most people thought he would get. KJ Martin, Nick Batum, Robert Covington, Marcus Morris, a bunch of picks from the Clippers, 2026 and 2028 first and second round pick, or the Thunder's second round pick. Like it's looking good for the Sixers right now if they want to make a move. Whether that be Zach LaVine, who is my preferred choice, if they're gonna bring somebody in, I'd rather them bring in another two to clearly submit Maxey as the one. Like Zach LaVine would be perfect here. And right now, the only thing that you can really knock the Sixers for is that DeAnthony Melton hasn't really come on yet. But when he finally comes on, when he finally starts hitting threes, when he finally starts attacking again, when he can be the defensive annoyance that he is, my goodness, the Sixers are looking good. And that's the only thing you can really point to right now. DeAnthony Melton is slumping right now, right? He's like the weak link in the starting five right now. Right now. Now, I don't want you Melton fans being too mad at me. I'm just saying that right now it's not working for him. I think he's going to work through it. He's still a defensive pest. He'll start hitting those shots, and once he does, it's going to add even more space to a wide open offense right now for Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, and Tobias Harris. And again, once that happens, the Sixers can go as far as they want to go. And again, I like to emphasize, I don't think they've played their best ball yet. Like they still have a ways to go, but I think once it really gets going, the Sixers will be one of the best teams, not only in the Eastern Conference, but may just be able to lay claim to being the best team in the NBA. All right, guys. Well, that does it for me. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Sixers post-game show. I'm Kylan Watson. I really do appreciate it. Have a great rest of your week and weekend coming up. Happy Veterans Day to the veterans, man. We want to thank you all for your service. Hit me up at Kylan W. Watson on X. All right, y'all have a good one.